The longbow had an all-consuming aura, and even though Zane was merely walking toward it, he still felt like he was melting. His temperature rose to new heights, his blood felt like it was boiling, and the vital energy in his body almost evaporated completely. Suddenly, a fierce gust of wind swept out from the longbow and pushed him back a few feet. He thought,
"It really doesn't want me anywhere near it."
He strained his eyes to get a better look at the bow. A frown creased his forehead as something occurred to him, and then his heart began to pound. Alongside the weapon, a golden book of cultivation techniques floated in the air, shining with a bright red light. There was also something written on the stone tablet beneath his feet. It read,
"The divine art of the Great One, a martial arts technique cultivated by the true God." The Great One was an incredibly skilled archer and never missed a shot. He once used the divine art of the Great One to kill the golden crows above the heavens, and then refine them into the 9 genuine flames, allowing him to kill his targets from thousands of yards away. The divine bow is 5 feet tall and weighs over 260 pounds. Crafted from the bones of the golden crows, it is a naturally lethal weapon. The bow is wrapped in the 9 genuine flames and is capable of burning everything in its path.
After reading the inscription, Zane stumbled back in surprise.
The divine art of the Great One? Seriously?
He trembled with excitement, and his gaze once again fell upon the gleaming book next to the longbow. He had heard stories about the Great One ever since he was a young boy. Legend had it that in ancient times the god had once killed 9 of the 10 golden crows to save all living things. At that moment, Zane realized something. If the Great One really had used the divine bow to kill the golden crows, it must be more than just a genuine energy artifact.
It has to be divine in nature.
He slowly approached the bow again, but a flame leaped out and burned him before he could get close. Instinctively, he jumped back a few steps and frowned. He thought,
I might not be able to wield the divine bow right now. But will I be able to try again when I reach the foundation level? Or maybe after I've cultivated the divine art of the Great One?
As he mulled over the answer to his question, he was once again drawn to the book that detailed the divine art of the Great One. A misty golden wave of energy encircled it, undulating like a wave. He decided to reach out and touch the book, but a layer of transparent energy seemed to stop him before he could make contact. He stubbornly tried again to grab it, but red flames immediately burst forth. When he finally managed to clasp the book's spine between his fingertips, the fiery onslaught burned itself out, leaving him both puzzled and elated. He impatiently opened the book and scanned the sentences written on the first page. It read,
I was born human. When subjected to the will of the divine, I was under the protection of the true God. To understand and practice the divine art, you must first cultivate the true eye.
As Zane's heart rate began to return to normal, he felt the contents of the book drawing him in. After what felt like years, he eventually turned over the last page of the tome and let out a huge sigh of relief. Then he turned his attention back to the divine bow that was still floating in the air. Remembering something he had read earlier, he flicked back to a particular section of the book and moved his finger over a particular paragraph. It read,
To master the divine art of the Great One, the first thing one needs to cultivate is the true eye in order to see what is thousands of miles away. From then on, one will be able to see a fly buzzing around from miles away and even ascertain its gender. However, cultivating the true eye requires the spiritual liquid from the blood herb to cleanse one's eyes.
Zane frowned. He had never heard of the blood herb before, so it was bound to be difficult to find. Based on what he could gather from the book, it seemed to be a precious herb that had existed in ancient times. Tens of thousands of years had passed since then, meaning it might be from a plant that had since become extinct. That thought tempered Zane's excitement, and he snapped the book shut in frustration.
I need to forget about this for now. I should be concentrating all my energy on passing the test to get into the sect.
With that in mind, he sat on the ground and took out a golden essence pill. Its strong medicinal scent filled the wisdom chamber before he even had the chance to swallow it. When he placed it in his mouth, the pill melted on his tongue, and a warm current flowed into his energy center. The seventh stage of body tempering was also known as the first stage of cleansing. When a cultivator reached that stage, they were able to thoroughly wash and cleanse their body of any impurities. After doing it 3 times, the vital energy in their body would become incredibly pure, making it suitable for condensing seeds of vital energy. But for some reason, Zane had already managed to successfully condense one when he was only at the 6th stage of body tempering. As he concentrated, the vital energy in his energy center began to evaporate and turn into wisps of mist that flowed into his internal organs. It was as if his vital energy had turned into a sponge that was cleaning his entire body, both inside and out. A fine black dust flowed into his bloodstream and was expelled through his breath. 5 days later, Zane opened his eyes and felt elated. His body was much lighter, and he felt a lot more comfortable in his own skin than he had before he had started the cleansing process.
I didn't think a golden essence pill would allow me to reach the peak of the 7th stage of body tempering in less than a week. Even the seed of vital energy has grown quite a bit. This is incredible. If the herbs used in golden essence pills weren't so rare, I could have refined even more of them and kept them for myself.
He ruefully shook his head and returned his focus to the matter at hand. He thought,
I'm ready to take the test now. I'll ensure I succeed and secure my entry into the sect.
He jumped up and quickly vacated the dragon prison. A moment later, he reappeared in the narrow room he had been assigned 5 days ago. When he pushed open the door, he could see hundreds of people hurrying down the corridors with either excited or hesitant expressions as they headed toward the mountain gate. Zane quickly followed suit and blended into the crowd. The accommodation arranged by the Hall of Foreign Affairs was at the foot of Burial Mountain, and a long flight of stairs led up to the main gate, where hundreds of hopefuls had already congregated to take part in the test. A handsome young man in a golden robe stood in front of Zane. He appeared to be a little disappointed as he looked at the people who were milling around, and it seemed he was searching for someone. When he turned around and saw Zane, he quickly reached out to shake his hand.
Hello, my name is Barnabas, and my family sent me here from Meadow City to take the test. It looks like you're all alone, just like I am. Everyone else seems to be here with friends, family, or elders. Why don't we stick together and look out for one another?
For a moment, Zane simply stared at him, not sure what to make of the suggestion.
Can't wait for more? Catch the next episode tomorrow. And if you are ready to binge the whole series, download our app now. Tap the link in our bio to start your journey.